Cody Ko and Noel Miller have changed what it means to be a commentary channel on YouTube. Not long ago, sitting in front of a screen and reacting to videos went no further than doing just that. But Cody and Noel have used their charisma, business sense, and overall production quality to use commentary as a springboard for their other ventures to incredible success. Usually, the YouTubers that are associated with branching out into different media are the vloggers. Audiences already care about them. So it's easy for the audiences to follow when these creators branch out into different mediums. But what makes Cody and Noel so special? What's the secret ingredient behind turning the act of sitting in front of a computer screen and watching YouTube into a multimedia career? Why did their audience also follow? This video is a tribute to why Cody and Noel stand out in not only personality, but in technical production, and how this has allowed them to tackle every form of media possible. The reason Cody and Noel stand out for what they built is because of the incredibly overcrowded genre that they've come from. There's this endless web of what can be considered commentary channels on YouTube. And within these webs, there are many creators that can arguably define a subgenre. Some of these genres came and went due to a number of factors. Some creators have branched off and found a new outlet and have been successful elsewhere. Some genres are really interesting, but are unfortunately a bit too niche to reach mainstream audiences. Today, I would have to say that this genre, I don't even really know what to call it, is what defines YouTube commentary today. Now, I'm not here to say which channels are better than others, you can debate about that in the comments, but I would have to argue that Cody Ko and Noel Miller are the two creators within this niche that are at the forefront of its popularity. Let's talk about Cody first. Here's the experience I had. Like many others, the first video that introduced me into the world of Cody and Noel was a video from Cody. This one in particular titled Instagram Comedians. Much like in the style of early H3H3, where he tore apart popular Facebook content and YouTube pranks because the content was overall low effort and in some cases scummy, the focus of Cody's video attacked a different niche. The content that H3 was criticizing was most likely totally disconnected from himself and his fan base, but the content that Cody was criticizing was probably cut from the same cloth as himself, that being Vine. It's highly probable that Cody shared a fan base with the people who he was criticizing during their time on Vine. Not to say that their content was super similar or anything, it's just that popular Vine content tended to appeal to a broader audience. Niches weren't as important as they are on YouTube. So many different people, no matter who you were, probably came across the same kind of content. Once Vine was gone, the Viners split across YouTube and Instagram, and the Viners that went on to focus on Instagram, well, it's pretty obvious why. Instead of ripping apart scummy stolen Facebook content, Cody was more concerned with what I can only describe as people who think they're really funny and hot, but are in fact only funny to small children and at the same time really inappropriate to small children. Many of the big commentary channels at the time beforehand mainly focused their criticism for each video onto an individual creator. But what made Cody stand out was that he started cataloging and critiquing genres that weren't really defined yet.
You know, I shed light on something that people hadn't otherwise profiled or maybe paid attention to before. Like, I think like one of my most famous videos ever was the Blue Ice Water video, where I talked about travel influencers and people that are always in Greece, taking pictures in Greece all the time, and people are like, do you have a job? I don't understand, how do you pay for this? And it just drives people crazy.
Instagram influencers slash comedians, Coachella people, travel vloggers who literally just travel and nothing else. The reason Cody knows exactly who all these people are and how to pick them apart is it's because he's been all of them, but like without the annoying parts. I'm willing to bet that Cody has reeled in a bunch of potential haters only for them to be like, oh wait, no, this guy's right. No, he knows exactly what he's talking about. Now, if Cody provides the perfect setup, Noel sticks the landing. Now, I know that's like so simple, that's just what comedy partners do, but what I'm trying to say is that Noel is really good at just ripping into people. Now, I can of course go on and on about what Noel brings to the table in terms of comedy, but what I really want to focus on here is that Noel brings an insane amount of artistic experience to the group. Noel has a pretty strong background in both music and video, but it's almost hidden because he rarely talks about how hard he works on other projects. He's talked a little bit about his experience rapping back in the day, and obviously brings those skills that he's developed over many years to the table in the TMG songs, as well as his very own album. And in terms of video, well, this guy has 2 short films out on his channel right now. Expertly produced, directed by himself. You can tell that this guy put many hours into honing in on his craft. content. And I mean, honestly, I just made this part of the video to say that these are pretty sick. Obviously, the commentary videos that he puts onto his own channel are definitely not his final form in the slightest. And when you put these two things together, but we'll talk about that in a second. So this almost answers our question of how can Cody and Noel pull all this stuff off? What I personally appreciate the most is the production quality that they bring into it. On their podcast, the boys always talk about how they're just two dudes who talk about balls all day.
People listening right now is like, can you go back to talking about balls and dicks? And
Yeah.
But as funny as it sounds, when you zoom out, there's a lot more going on here. Cody and Noel seem to be at least a little obsessed with providing their viewer with some eye candy. And as a video editor, video creator, just a person who's kind of obsessed with video in general, I just really want to talk about this. I mean, yeah, their podcast does talk about balls a lot, but they spent countless hours, years even, getting better and better at making an hour-long piece of content entertaining. And this set that they've built is an example of that. This is a set for a format that mainly focuses on the audio, but they took it one step further and traveled all the way to space just to show the audience that they care about their craft. There are little knickknacks on the wall, a nice color palette, great symmetry. Even though their podcast was doing really well without any of that, they just felt the need to kick it up a notch in terms of production value as soon as they could because they thought their fans deserved it. In terms of their music videos, they're also just so great. Noel's background in filmmaking really has a chance to shine in these videos. He directs every single one of them, and it's amazing to see the variety and quality that come out of these music videos. The Walkman video is a great example of how you can make an amazing video with very little. Think about it, there's some lights, a treadmill, a big open space, and a little insert coin looking mall spaceship ride, I don't know. And the video is still so much fun to watch. The cinematography for Club Pour is of note because it's pretty much made to be done in very few long and continuous shots, as you follow the storyline of both Noel and Cody as they get into shenanigans inside of a club. Sophia uses lighting to levels that literally just make it look like a feature film. This shot coming down the hallway with the backlighting illuminating the bar, leaving Noel's silhouette framed perfectly in the middle of these pillars, the ambiently lit dance stage with that one streak of light leading your eyes to the dancer, and of course this super smooth, crazy, contrasting color light switch. So good. And Brokeback, I mean, this is just a great video overall. The costumes, the set composition, colors, movement, everything. It seems as if Cody and Noel can just flow through any medium effortlessly and have their audience follow without any worry. Usually it's relatively hard for a creator to get their audience to convert from one platform to another. From YouTube to podcasts, music, and I didn't even get started on live shows. Some creators struggle because their audience only likes them for one thing, and they don't want to translate over to another. Other creators will haphazardly branch out into a different medium because it's a quick cash grab and their audiences will notice and begin to disrespect them because of it. But the reason it works so effortlessly for creators like Cody and Noel is because of what I just showed you. It doesn't work effortlessly. Cody and Noel have taken the time and effort to realize every aspect and quality of the medium that they decide to go into and be good at it. It may sound so obvious, but so many creators fail into branching to other mediums because they don't take the time for this simple stuff. Cody and Noel know how to relate and sell to their audience because, well, this may sound dramatic, but they know exactly how their audience thinks. Like I said before, they can dissect the culture and the audience of previously undefined social media genres, so it shouldn't be that hard to just be self-aware and realize what would work with your own audience, right? Combine this awareness with a natural talent for comedy, as well as a love for high production value, and none of their work feels out of place, even though it started from relatively simple commentary videos. Everything that exists within the Tiny Meat Gang cinematic universe all works very, very well together, as opposed to other creators who may feel a bit disconnected from the other things that they decide to do, or other creators that neglect who their audiences really are and start to make really distasteful content. Instead of following a crowd who took the easy and immediately lucrative path from Vine, Cody branched out and went against the grain, honing in on his thoughts of a community that he was once closely related to, and speaking out against it because he just genuinely didn't think it was right. Noel has a genuine passion for filmmaking and everything about it, and puts genuine effort towards every set they build and every music video they produce, instead of taking an easy, cheap alternative because he cares about the craft. Both of them have just put endless hours into dialing in on their style of comedy. It seems pretty simple, but that's really all there is to it. There exist a lot of creators on YouTube who are or were almost universally hated by other creators. There are even a lot of commentary YouTubers that get ridiculed for just doing what everybody else does. Creators that boast about doing the absolute most while literally giving the least amount of effort needed for a quick bag.
By the way, how lazy is this set? Like, what are these tables? Like,
There's not a single thing on the wall. It's just insulting to the people watching this video. It really is.
But Cody and Noel literally ridicule these people, all while making high effort content and mentioning the work they put into it like once or twice. Cody and Noel have a deep respect for everything they decide to dive into, and their fans know it. Whether it's just something that you feel or something that you keep an eye out for and recognize every time. It's the reason you watch in the first place and the reason you come back, no matter what they decide to do. So the next time you watch one of their music videos, jam to it quickly and then click off, just remember that these guys
Camus powder? Oh, dude, you're drinking cum powder?
took a lot of time to make these. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, the editing, anything that I've done here, please, please, please leave a like. It really helps out. And please, please, please subscribe because it also really helps out. Have a good one. See you later.